The name of the movie name, Silo 2. The story begins when we learn that Juliet has been sent for cleaning, and during her search, she discovers an outer silo. We realize that she has been searching and working to save herself. The plot introduces the silo's overseer, the warden, the person who manages the silo from the inside, and who was responsible for sending Juliet for cleaning because he disliked her and considered her a cause of trouble for the silo. We learn that she has reached the giant door, which makes her suspect that someone else is out of their silo in search of truth, leading to their tragic deaths outside. Juliet, exploring Silo 17 decades later, faces a desolate, abandoned landscape where she must navigate through the remnants of the past to survive. Her suit keeps her safe from the toxic air, and she eventually enters the silo, where she discovers the haunting aftermath of the failed uprising. She meets a mysterious survivor, possibly with knowledge that could help her return to her original silo. In Episode 2, Juliet continues to explore Silo 17, overcoming obstacles and discovering more about the complex and grim history of the silo. She encounters a locked vault door with a mysterious man on the other side, whose eerie blue eyes are seen through the narrow window. This encounter sets the stage for a tense moment, as he threatens to kill her if she tries to open the door again. Meanwhile, back in Silo 18, tension grows as rumors about Juliet's survival spread, possibly sparking rebellion. Might be inside the mysterious silo that witnessed the revolution, and this person seems to have been trapped there by the system. At this moment, we see him reading the silo's book or the law they follow in the accounting system, and he reads a phrase stating that anyone who is sent for cleaning without being destroyed due to contamination, as happened with Juliet, will start a revolution against them. At this moment, we see him scared and disturbed, and signs start appearing in the place indicating that people have started causing chaos to get rid of him. We then see the woman who previously worked in the judiciary and held a high position, able to control many matters, and she knows secrets about the silo that no one else is aware of. She is tired and feels that the warden is the cause of everything happening. She then goes to open the door, but they warn her not to go out as it could escalate the revolution, as people have started to become agitated after Juliet was sent for cleaning and nothing happened to her. The original plan was to get rid of her. Then we see Bernard, a very corrupt individual who works as the warden's temporary assistant. He tells him that people have started to carry out a revolution and chaos because they suspect that the truth about the silo is being hidden from them, and they are the cause of the bad situation. He tells the warden that he will speak to them and deceive them so they won't carry out their revolution against them. Meanwhile, we see people sitting far away from the contamination inside the silo, beginning to carry out chaos and fighting. They shout that the outside world is safe and that they are trying to deceive them so they don't go out, exploiting their positions without weapons or the necessary tools to do anything about it. Inside the silo, people are divided by class, with the poor placed at the lower levels, forbidden to move or express their opinions. Then one of the guards who maintain the order within the silo tells them that they are all the same and can't do anything. They must just obey the laws to avoid being sent for cleaning. Then, a person from the mechanics department tells them that Juliet was a resident of the silo and that they had just sent her out, which hurts everyone, and they must find out the truth about why she wasn't destroyed when she went for cleaning and how she was able to walk while others were destroyed. Then the girl who was Juliet's childhood friend says they need to cut off the silo's electricity and disable the engine to achieve what the people want and allow them to leave. Everyone is scared of this because it could result in all of them being sent for cleaning. An elderly woman named Wonks, who was responsible for Juliet in her childhood, sprays water on everyone to prevent any chaos, and tells them that each one should return to their work because if anyone acts illegally, they will be disposed of. Then we see Bernard, the corrupt assistant, trying to exploit the situation and control it, telling the officer that they need to find a reason for people to believe that Juliet was sent for cleaning voluntarily and that no one forced her. This indicates that everything was staged to get rid of her because she was revealing the silo's secrets, and they were exploiting people. We see Wonks talking to the girl who was Juliet's friend and telling her that Juliet might still be alive. But she doesn't want to stir up suspicion, and they should avoid discussing this. Then one of the policemen working with the system approaches her and says he needs to talk to Wonks. The girl gets upset and goes, and he tells her that they must arrest anyone connected to this case, including her. She argues and says that this doesn't indicate upholding the system, but they force her to go with the warden. The woman who had doubts about the warden then feels that he is indeed a corrupt person trying to exploit them, so she throws the drinks they were having, as she suspects they contain toxic substances. After that, we see the workers who maintain the giant engine that powers the silo talking to Juliet's friend and telling him that they should not help anyone in making weapons, as this could lead to chaos. We then see the warden and his assistant going to the woman we talked about earlier, who is distressed by their presence, and she tells them that she stopped drinking the beverages they were offering her because she suspects they contain toxic substances. The warden gets annoyed with her and asks her to help convince people that Juliet was the one who wanted to go for cleaning. He tries to convince her to say something more about them to everyone so they won't destroy the silo's system. She encounters the locked vault door with a mysterious man that she can't assist them in this matter. Blue eyes are seen through the narrow window. We see the former governor. This encounter sets the stage for a tense moment, telling them threatens to kill her if she tries to open the door again. Destroyed when she was sent for cleaning. Back in Silo, this causes more frustration among the people and ignites a revolution against the system that has imposed this situation on them. It turns out that Juliet has crossed the hill that threatens them with danger, and while the outside world is polluted, she survived. Juliet is determined to leave, knowing the outside world isn't as contaminated as everyone believes, and she yearns to escape like the fabled Juliet. Her discovery of the silo's dark secrets only strengthens her resolve. Meanwhile, the deputy arrests Watkins and her elderly friend, accusing them of aiding Juliet in her escape, even though no one has definitive proof. Inside their cell, Watkins and her friend discuss the mysterious tape that Juliet had attempted to steal earlier. They uncover its true purpose: it prevents exposure to contamination. Watkins realizes that if they reveal this to the public, it could expose the corrupt officials, who deliberately use faulty tapes to ensure the death of anyone who leaves the silo. However, her friend hesitates, fearing that such revelations could backfire and lead to their own exile. Her suit keeps her safe from the toxic air, and she eventually enters the silo, where she discovers the haunting aftermath of the failed uprising. She meets a The scene shifts to the mayor addressing the residents of the silo. He manipulates the crowd, claiming Juliet willingly chose to leave for the sake of the silo's safety. He frames her as a hero while concealing the truth that she was forced out because she threatened to reveal their secrets. To bolster his narrative, he calls on a trusted ally, a woman with influence, to validate his story. Her support convinces many, calming the crowd and preventing a potential uprising. However, Juliet's ally, a mechanic working in the engine room, steps forward with a bombshell revelation. She announces that Juliet's tape was swapped with a clean, protective one, shielding her from contamination. This statement sparks suspicion among the crowd, but the authorities quickly move to silence her. A police officer tries to arrest her, but another mechanic, who is loyal to Juliet, intervenes, claiming she's too exhausted to know what she's saying. This moment of deflection buys time, but tensions remain high. In the shadows, Bernard, an ambitious and corrupt official, schemes to secure his position as the mayor's deputy. He returns home, confiding in his wife about his fears of Juliet's knowledge threatening their power. Bernard admits he's willing to do whatever it takes to gain more control over the silo and protect their interests. Elsewhere, the workers in the engine room, including Juliet's friend, discuss their next move. They agree to remain silent to avoid being sent outside for cleaning. However, a sudden noise startles them, and a young worker who once assisted Juliet volunteers to distract any potential intruders. Watkins, on the other hand, debates with her cellmate about exposing the truth but warns that doing so could lead to disastrous consequences. The mayor continues his manipulative campaign, emphasizing that the outside world is uninhabitable and that Juliet's departure was a selfless act to save the silo. He then approaches the influential woman who supported him, asking her to take on Bernard's role as his deputy. Surprisingly, she declines and expresses her desire to leave the silo, further complicating the mayor's plans. As the episode concludes, the tension within the silo reaches a boiling point. The workers, officials, and residents are caught in a web of lies, betrayals, and suppressed truths. Juliet's fate outside the silo remains uncertain, but her actions continue to ripple through the community, leaving everyone questioning the system they once trusted.